Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Armchair Pundits. How you guys doing?
All good, bro. All good.
Yeah, man. Good. Looking forward to this one still.
I'm on some mute, so we can't hear him, so we'll leave him be. But yeah, so this week we are doing a slightly different show. We are doing an underrated Premier League 11. So what we'll be doing, we'll all pick our own 11s, and then at the end of it, we'll do a combined 11. Stipulations we did have, just to make it a bit more interesting, make it even harder actually. We could have picked any players that had been in the Premier League or PFA Team of the Year, or they've won the Player of the Year. They couldn't have won a Golden Boot either.
Or Young Player of the Year.
Yeah, or Young Player of the Year. So it did rule out people like, and obviously there's people who you might say, well, they didn't make this, but we class them as not being underrated, like Essien. Some people may say Essien didn't win accolades, but Essien was heavily rated. So you don't have people like that in the team. And people like Desai, who's far behind, but even though he came late, he was heavily rated. And we had one guy in there that chose Okocha, the king of Africa. Now, I say Africa, but some people say just Nigeria. But
I'm
yeah,
gutted.
he couldn't make it. He couldn't make it
I'm gutted.
because he definitely wasn't underrated.
I had Ricardo Carvalho. You said no.
Yeah,
that was unanimous.
That was a debate. And I think the last one we had was Ledley King, who was not underrated. Henri said it himself. He was the best he faced, even after doing treadmills and in the swimming pool and that business and not training. But yeah, without any further ado, we'll start with you, Bevan. Name your team.
Cool. So in my team, I've got you see Laskalainen in goal. At right back, I've got Lee, T and Biscuits Dixon. Centre back, I've got Lucas Radaby and Jose Font. And then to represent at left back, I've got Ricardo Gardner. DM, Thomas Gravison. At centre midfield, I've got Musa Dembele. Then right wing, Morton Camps Pedersen. Left wing, Damien Duff. Up front, Mark Viduka. And just behind him, I have Tim Cahill.
Okay, over to you, Liam.
Okay, I had Jussi Jaskalainen, Dan Petrescu at right back, centre backs Martin Larsson and Lucas Radaby, left back John Arnorisa, right midfield I had Norberto Solano, centre mids Tim Cahill and Musa Dembele, left wing or left midfield Damien Duff, and then I had Edin Dzeko and Jermaine Defoe up front.
Lamont.
All right. So between the sticks, I got Shaka Hislop, Right back, just to make sure the feng shui is how it needs to be, I got John O'Shea, trusted. Centre back, another one for the ages, Frank Sinclair. Something wrong, guys? I'll keep going.
Represented. It's cool. You represented.
I'll keep going. Centre back, the other centre back, I got Lucas Radaby. Left back, I got John Arnorisa. Begrudgingly, I was trying to put Dennis Irwin in there, but obviously we know how that went down. Left mid, I got Wilfred Zaha. Centre mid, Musa Dembele, absolute boss. The other centre mid, I got Papa Boba Diop, RIP. Right mid, I got Yannick Bolasie. The Spurs fans won't like that one, but it is what it is. Set up top, we got Jermaine Defoe, and the other one is Mark Viduka. James, remember Mark Viduka when he scored 4 against Liverpool? Do you remember?
One's there.
Yeah.
He scored 4. It was all right. It was good goals, actually.
Yeah.
But he didn't win him nothing. He didn't win anything.
I'm just saying.
That's why it's in this team.
Exactly. Just for those 4 goals. So, in my team, Carlo Cudicini in goal. I got left back, John Arisa. My 2 centre backs are Martin Larsson, Lucas Radebe. My right back is Dan Petrescu. My defensive midfielder is Idrissa Gueye. Centre midfielder, Musa Dembele. Right wing, Nobi Solano. Left wing, Damien Duff. And up front, I've got Viduka and Dzeko. So, I had Kanu in there, but I couldn't justify it in the end. So that's my shout out for Kanu, but I had to go with those two.
Kanu was a
So-
Donny. You couldn't have him in there.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's fair. It's fair. So after all of that, the next stipulation was that we had to pick players that were in 3 or more of our teams, so they automatically made it into the combined team. So the players that automatically made it in were John Arisa at left back, Lucas Radebe at centre back, Moussa Dembele at centre midfield, Damien Duff at left wing, and Mark Viduka as a centre forward. So, goalkeeper wise, Lamont, we'll go to you first this time. Who was your goalkeeper pick? And we'll see whether we'll pick him over the others.
Well, Shaka Hislop, you know.
So you got Shaka Hislop, you've got Kudicini, and you've got Juskalainen to choose from. So out of those guys, who is your number one pick?
Shaka Hislop. It has to be my
Still?
number one pick. Yeah. Because, you know, he's a Donny in his own right. And, you know what I mean? His name is as powerful as his goalkeeping skills, mate. So, you know, one of these other guys have to pass and let Shaka just step in and just do his thing. Plus, he's from the islands, you get me? So,
But
If
I'm
it
not sure that's going to
represents
happen. Not sure that's going to happen, but still. So, Leon, I'm assuming you're going to stick with Juskalainen, or has Kudicini or Hislop swayed you in any way?
To be honest, no. I mean, Shaka Hislop, although I would say he's probably a cult hero at some of the clubs that he's been at, I don't really think that he was necessarily that underrated, unrecognized for his goalkeeping skills. Pardon, say that again?
Was he that rated?
I think at the clubs
That's
he was
the
probably
question.
I don't know if he was that rated. I don't know if he was underrated or that rated, but he wouldn't have been my pick, and he wasn't my pick. I was deciding between Ben Foster and Jussi Jääskeläinen. I decided to go with Jääskeläinen because I just felt when he was at Bolton, he was making saves that I hadn't seen any keeper in the world make at the time. There was a few seasons where I felt like, I mean, he was obviously consistent. He played a ton of games, and I wouldn't say that he's someone who's probably recognised as one of the top keepers who have played in the Prem. I think there's other people who obviously get mentioned more than he does, so that's why I went with Jääskeläinen.
Okay. Bevan?
Yeah, so
Sti-
in terms of, you can ask me if I'm going to stick.
Yeah,
with
stick or
Jääskeläinen.
twist?
Yeah, out of those two keepers, I prefer Jääskeläinen. I prefer him to Kudicini. And
Okay.
I prefer him
Man
to...
didn't even say Hislop, you know.
Yeah.
Man said don't have the two keepers.
Can we just put some respect on Hislop's name? Let me tell you something, yeah?
I was about to get to Hislop, bro. Listen,
But you said out of
alright.
the two, bro. You didn't say out of the three.
I was about
you said
to...
out of two.
Out of two, I just mentioned Kudicini first.
Oh, okay.
I just said Kudicini first. I prefer him over Kudicini, and between him and Hislop was like a cult hero for West Ham, probably a cult hero for Newcastle as well. But
because he was battling with Pavel Srnicek, bro.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. He did his thing at those two clubs. He pulled some good saves, but like there were times when Jääskeläinen was unbelievable at Bolton, and like his longevity for playing there as well. I don't think out of the two you could pick him. As much as I'd like to pick a keeper from the islands, I can't do it in this instance. You know what I mean? Just as much as I want Ricardo Gardner to be in the team, unfortunately, Shaka Hislop has to lose out. And I think out of those two, I prefer Jääskeläinen, so I'm sticking with Jääskeläinen.
All right. So does the FA Cup runners up not mean nothing to you guys?
No,
Like they don't mean nothing to you, yeah? West Ham, Newcastle. Also, you know, I'm sure he won the UEFA Intertoto when it was Intertoto. Like with West Ham, he was doing his thing. His up was doing his thing. What? It does not count for nothing in here.
How times have slipped Man United fans talking about seconds and rating it, bruv? You're supposed to be Man United, just looking at
But
stuff.
he's underrated, yeah? He's underrated, right? And I'm saying, really,
Not
truly.
like these guys.
You
To
don't
be
think
fair,
so?
no, sorry. I forgot. To be honest, it sounds silly to say I forgot about him when we were doing underrated, but he slipped my radar over Kuducini. So if I'm honest, out of those guys, I'm looking at Escalainen as well. Kuducini, he's just one of those guys from my younger days that I just always liked as a goalkeeper. Was he fully underrated? I thought he was, but people have looked sideways when I've said it. So I guess he wasn't. His stop, listen, he had a good spell. He had a good spell, but I don't know. I don't know if he's more underrated than Yusuke Escalainen was. So
I don't think so. And you mentioned that runners-up medal. You know, he didn't play in that cup final, right?
Well, there you go.
Listen, he was in the
Sorry.
squad. He's in the squad, bro. It's all about. He's a
side
team
man.
player. He's in the squad.
He's back up.
Yeah, exactly. He's a bad man backup.
And in all honesty, James, that's why I couldn't pick Kuducini, because he always ended up being a backup in the end. Like, I think he had an outstanding few seasons for Chelsea.
Yeah.
And then when he joined Tottenham, he had a really bad motorbike accident, and that kind of messed him up. And then he ended up being backup as well. So I don't think he had long enough.
I remember at one point they were trying to get him to play for England, Kuducini,
and Chelsea.
He refused in the end. But so in that being the case, it's 3-1. Unlucky Sheka. So our goalkeeper is Yusuke Escalainen. So we'll move on to our first centre back. We've got Radebe in there ready. So, Leon, your centre back of choice was Martin Larsson. Can you see yourself switching to Jose Font?
For me, no. He
Sinclair?
No way. Frank Sinclair was no way. I'm sorry, bro.
I put some respect on Sinclair's name, bro.
He had a great career, but I don't really feel like he was underrated. For me, Martin Larsson was someone that came to a head, especially after I couldn't have Ledley King in there, because he was pretty much rated by everyone that knows ball. Let's be real. But Martin Larsson for Aston Villa, he was outstanding. Always a top performer for them. I think he did have some injury troubles at one point, but when he'd overcome them and he was in the team, they were their backline was different. It's the same with King. The same kind of impact that King had for us, Larsson had for Aston Villa. When he wasn't there, they really missed him, and I felt like. Because I think he played for AC Milan before he went to. I'm sure he played for AC Milan before he went to Villa.
I think he did.
But yeah, he was quality for them. So I can't see him not being in the team for me. I don't think people will mention him as a first name on their list of these players. So definitely underrated for me.
So I'll go with me next, just because I've already picked him, so he'll be in my team. So there's not much more I can say other than what Leon said. So for me, he's in my team. So we've got 2 votes. So over to you, Bevan. Who do you pick?
Remember, you got the Jamaica top on, yeah?
To be honest,
you got Font. You got
I got Font. I got Font.
Or Sinclair.
To be honest, I was going to ask Lamont to go next, but it seems like he's going to stick with. No. He seems like he's sticking with Frank Sinclair, so we need a voice of reason here. So, I mean, if he's not going to change, there's no point in in terms of Font. I did like what he came with at Southampton.
Yeah, he was good, man.
He was good. That back line was good, and then I think after it's only
after West Ham after that.
He wasn't as. I don't think he was as good at West Ham.
He wasn't as good at West Ham.
He was a late bloomer, wasn't he? Really?
Yeah, he was, and he wasn't as good for. I think it was the Euros after with Portugal. Wasn't as good there either. It was kind of bad.
He won it though. He won it with them, no?
He did.
As a sub.
It wasn't. Yeah. So I wanted Font to be honest. It is difficult trying to pick this team when you're trying to think of.
So many.
So many years of whole Premier League era, and I'll be honest, I forgot about Martin Larsson in the team, to be honest. But he was good for Villa. He was a standout player in terms of like a commanding centre back. So I am minded to switch my centre back and scupper Lamont so we don't have to hear from him. So I'm changing to Martin Larson.
I'm out.
So that's a free. That's a free. So what I'll do instead, I'll move on to. It's going to be hard to pick this one. And to be honest, so Martin Larson makes it. So it's John O'Shea. So is there an argument for John O'Shea to get in there ahead of Dan Francescu or Lee Dixon?
Without a doubt.
I call tea and biscuits.
No, without a doubt, John O'Shea has to get in there because his versatility in any team it sees no bounds. Like the geezer can play right back, left back, centre back, centre. You know what I mean? So I feel like he was the most underrated player in terms of what he can bring to any squad. Any squad. He could play. He could pretty much fit in when he was at his pomp. He could fit in any squad. Come on. At his pomp, he could fit in any squad.
He wasn't great when he left United, though.
I don't think I'd have had him at Liverpool.
Because when he was at
Liverpool,
he wasn't.
Why not?
I'll let Leon finish.
Like I think for Man United, yes, he was underrated. And obviously he played a lot of games for Sunderland, but Sunderland were always like I don't feel like he made Sunderland like a solid outfit. But in terms, to be honest with you, in terms of consistency, you have to give him credit because like he was always there when Man United needed him. And in terms of versatility, I think Lamont does raise a good point about how versatile he was and the fact that the contribution that he made to the team. But I don't know.
All right, so put it this way, Lee, then. Put it this way. Like the same level that you're thinking about O'Shea, yeah? Let's think about Font because it's the same principle almost, right? Because you're talking about a man that's to some degree it is though, Bev. Because if you're thinking about what he's bringing to the side, right? No, I know Font didn't make it, but he was in the conversation. Yeah, he was in the conversation. When he went to West Ham, you'd argue that he fell off a little bit, and you could probably say the same thing with the Sunderland era with O'Shea. You know, he's gone to Sunderland, and he didn't really he hit the heights that he hit when he was at United. And that just could be because of the dressing room, because of the people that was around him, you know, that kind of argument. But yeah, he wasn't an exceptional player, but he was definitely a player that you would argue was consistent and he was always ready to play anywhere you put him. And I think right back would suit him fine.
Hold on, though. One thing I will say, though, John O'Shea was a squaddie. Are the other two right backs? They start. Dan Petrescu starts. And Lee Dixon starts for Arsenal. And Jose Font started for Southampton. So I don't know if you could say he's the most underrated right back in the Premier League era, as when he didn't start for United.
Yeah, but he did start a few games, though, bro.
Okay,
a fair few games.
Question for you: was John O'Shea better than Dan Petrescu? Because that's what it comes down to. And for me, John O'Shea was not better than Dan Petrescu. If I had to choose a right back, and you've got your list right there, I'm not choosing John O'Shea with Dan Petrescu to play right back for me. Listen, everything you said about John O'Shea is valid in terms of his versatility. He managed to stay at a high level at Man United for that period of time. But I think that's because I know. But I think that's because he was one of Ferguson's guys.
He was reliable.
But I don't think he would have played for Liverpool and been there for as long. He wouldn't have gone to Arsenal and been there as long. But he was someone who Ferguson saw come through the ranks and said, okay, he's going to be one of mine. But I don't think you take him out in his prime and put him into any of the other teams that they're rivaling against. I don't think he plays, personally. But I just see...
Right, so for Man United, yeah, he's playing over 200 games. Yeah.
All of those are right back, centre back, DM.
Regardless, and a lot of that is him starting as well. Don't take that away from him. You can't take that away from him. A lot of that is starting. I've got to be honest with you, with consistency, you can't be looking at Petrescu and say that, you know, he's more a consistent player. You might say, all right, right back, and that's all he ever played. Technically.
Because at Sunderland, John O'Shea played more centre back than he played right back or left back.
He didn't play right back.
No, he was a centre back, and he was a captain. To be honest, he was captain for Sunderland as well.
This is gonna be a sticky
This
one.
is a sticky one.
This
I'm not
is-
even gonna
this-
lie.
Because I don't think it's so cut and dry.
I
Bevan?
think Dan Petrescu is a better
Jono.
right back than
Yeah.
John O'Shea is, in my opinion. I think you're picking O'Shea because of the versatility, not necessarily
Because
that
he's from Man
he's
United,
better.
bro. If he was not a Man United player, bro,
The thing is,
it's tinged with that, which is fair. He's one of your own. It's tinged. There's going to be
But-
some level of that in there.
you're picking him at right back when Gary Neville played there. And the only reason Gary Neville's not in this team is because it's an underrated team. And Gary Neville was
Not only that.
team of the year.
Out of the two, who played more right back, John O'Shea or Wes Brown? So then you're looking at it's your third choice right back. In reality, Wes Brown played more right back than John O'Shea, I believe.
Yeah,
You want to put Wes Brown in there? We could put Wesley in there.
But what I'm saying is that's but in terms of
No, I understand what you're saying. In terms of the level, you're saying obviously he's third tier. He's third tier, third choice, if you like. And Dan Petrescu was first choice. So ultimately,
yes.
In that respect, I get it. I don't like the disrespect. I'm not gonna lie.
There's no disrespect, bro.
John
O'Shea had a fantastic
this has
career.
not been a cut and dry decision. Let's be real. Like your argument has been legit for John O'Shea because of his versatility, and he played a ton of games in the Premier League, so he can't have been crap. Do you know what I mean? I think the Sunderland era was probably the worst. Obviously, they're not in the Premier League.
I think it was
anymore,
a bad decision. I think it was a bad decision.
Yeah, definitely.
Him and Wes Brown went there
as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was a bad decision.
So
I think I'm gonna have to fold. I'm gonna have to fold just on that basis. I mean, I didn't really.
We didn't give Bevan a chance though. Is Bevan actually picking?
Or but when Bevan broke it down.
Oh yeah, true.
Bevan broke it down. He did say like, look, he was not even behind Gary Neville or Wes Brown. So when you really look at it like that, I suppose I haven't really got an argument. But O'Shea is no mug. I'll have it said again. He's no mug.
I agree, bro.
Yeah. No one's saying that, boy.
And now the feng shui of this team is messed up.
No one's saying that
he's Bevan's point mute? Are you making Bevan's pick mute by switching to Petrescu, or are we gonna have to debate between?
No, I'll stick with Jono. I'll stick what Lee Dixon and Petrescu. No,
yeah. Who you picking between Dixon and Petrescu? Because you've picked Petrescu over O'Shea now, so O'Shea is now off the table. So now your picks are either Lee Dixon, Team
knows
Biscuits.
Who I'm picking. He knows who I'm picking. That's why he's laughing. I love Petrescu all day. Thank you very much. You can put him in right back. His vote is mute. Have it back.
Cool. So we'll move on then. We'll move on. The next gap our back line is Yusuke Ascalani in goal. Left back, John Arisa. Centre backs, Martin Larsson, Lucas Radebe, Dan Petrescu. At right back. So Dembele is already in. So centre midfield. The other centre midfielder, we'll go back to you, Bevan. Your choice was Gravison.
Yeah, I went for Gravison. I did some stealing in the midfield. Pause. He's gonna there was a point at Everton where he was doing stuff at Everton, like breaking up play, and he was so good that he actually went to Real Madrid wanted to sign him. But I just don't think he in that era when you've got Roy Keane's and Steven Gerrard era and stuff like that, or even the Frank Lampard, Michael Essien era, who's not even in his team. You don't really hear much about Thomas Gravison. But in terms of a midfielder that's going to break up play and do the ugly stuff, we don't really see many of them these day and age. And I thought, Gravison was a player that we don't really hear too much about.
So when you're comparing him with, I've obviously you've got Bouba Diop. Bouba Diop, Leon had Tim Cahill. You've got Tim Cahill in your team already. Yeah. So Bouba Diop, Idrissa Gueye. Do you still have him over those two?
Do I still have him over those two? And next to Dembele?
Yeah, next to Dembele.
Do you know what?
This one's hard because all of us have picked different ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because I initially had him to play next to Dembele because like he's just going to be purely there to break up play, which doesn't, which probably doesn't translate to this era of football. But that's why.
Yeah,
That's
but
why.
I guess he's similar to Idrissa Gueye because that's why I chose Idrissa Gueye. He went to
Yeah.
PSG. He did, but it's a tough one. It's gonna be hard for us to choose one out from these ones.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. You know what? I'm sticking with my pick
Sticking.
for now. Yeah. I want to have something about like of that represents the whole Premier League era,
Yeah.
not just recent football.
Leon?
Yeah, not to say that Papa Big Build Up isn't.
I went with Tim Cahill. I felt like Cahill for Everton was their go-to guy for a number of seasons. He was getting goals from midfield, but just like with other midfielders, because of the Gerrard, Lampard's goals of the world, Cahill wasn't really getting a mention. But if you think about his impact for Everton, goals, his aerial ability as well, Lord of mercy, he was like the guy. Like people talk about Les Ferdinand was the first man that was like, yeah, he's in the air, not he can't be beaten. Tim Cahill was like that next guy that people like, rah, in the air, he's just too much. So I felt Cahill had a legitimate shout considering his impact for Everton. Gravison, I kind of understand why Bevan went with him. The fact that he did earn that move to Madrid showed they were looking for a DM at the time, and he fit the bill because that Everton team was very, very like steely. They weren't very interesting to watch, but in terms of their midfield, he was the one player that had a little bit of quality. Who kind of, I would say, made their midfield tick a little bit more. But I've gone with Tim Cahill, man. I can't. It's going to be difficult for me to pick him over Tim Cahill. Bouba Diop, I actually did like for Fulham. I thought he was a good player for Fulham, but I just don't think that he had the same level of impact as Cahill, in my opinion.
And your view on my pick of Idrissa Gueye?
I would actually pick Idrissa Gueye over Gravison. I'll pick Idrissa Gueye over Bouba Diop, but I wouldn't pick him over Gravison for underrated. I think just because I think it's recency bias with Idrissa Gueye because we see him so often. You don't really go, is he underrated? Because you can see the impact that he has, and I think when you look at the fact that he left and came back, it shows what kind of quality he was. I think he was he at Villa before he went to Everton? Just a gay.
I don't think so. I'll double check.
I can't remember, but yeah, I would go Cahill, Gravison. Would I go Cahill, Gay? I don't know, man.
Yeah, he was at Villa. You're right. He was at Villa.
So,
from Lille to Villa.
I think for longevity, I would go Cahill, Gay.
Gravison was only 2 years. Gravison was only in Premier League for 2 years. You got to remember that though.
Just 2? You sure?
Just 2 years. Before he went to
I'm sure it's more than that. I'm sure it's like 4 years.
Let's have a look. I'm pretty sure it was
4
2
seasons
years
or something like that. I'm sure. But either way, I would go Cahill, Gay, Gravison, Bouba Diop in that order.
This thing, Cahill popped about in a few different positions as well, didn't he?
He did.
Because he weren't just playing there. He was playing up top for a bit as well.
But that was more because Everton never had no strikers.
And he done a job though. This is the thing, he done a job up there. It's not like he wasn't no slouch, mate. He was scoring bangers. He was effective up there for sure.
Yeah, so Gravison, Everton, January the 1st, 2005. And then he went to 2000. Yeah, I got it wrong. I was looking at it wrong.
Okay.
He
was there for 4 years.
Yeah,
at least.
2000. 5 years he was there. 5 years.
Cool.
I think I'm looking at it. I'm happy to secede Gay. and I'm thinking it probably
Pause.
is a better midfield with, I think Dembele and Cahill. I like. No, you know what? Uber Diop, the wardrobe. That's what they called him in Fulham, the wardrobe. No, I want. No, I'll go. I think I'm gonna go. My two will be Diop. I don't know, but Cahill was more underrated than Diop.
In my opinion.
He was more. He's more.
What, he was more underrated in centre mid?
No, he's
In the
more
set
rated.
from centre mid.
Oh, Cahill was probably more known because of the goals, but
he's more rated. He's probably more rated than Diop. Then that's a
I
tough
would say
one, you know?
so. I think Tim Cahill is more of a household name than Papa, to be honest. Because I don't think much. I don't think.
I don't know if I rate Diop like that though. That's my thing.
me too.
I don't think I would rate him like that.
I would put Gay
for me to say,
I'll put Gay over Diop if I'm being honest. That's me personally.
I think my two will be Dembele and Cahill. So I like Diop, but I don't think he was underrated enough.
I mean, he's a robust midfielder, isn't it? I think he's box to box.
He was a bully. Yeah, it was a bully. And he could score long ranges as well.
Yeah, mate. He scored. I think he scored in his debut. No, his debut game that in the Prem
I think
was
he might have
against
scored
City.
his debut.
No, his debut game in the Prem was against City, and then he moved on to who did he go to after Fulham? I think he went to.
Was it West Ham?
Was it West Ham? I think it
I
was
can't
West
remember.
Ham. No, it's Portsmouth. He went Portsmouth.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Portsmouth.
he went Portsmouth. Yeah, and then his debut game for Portsmouth was against Chelsea. So the managers saw the steely kind of effect that he had on the midfield. I don't think Dembele is known for necessarily being that guy.
So you want a DM to go with Dembele as the player?
This is how I
if that's the case, I'm picking Gravison.
Really.
I'm picking Gravison over Diop. Personally, as a DM, I'm picking Gravison over Diop.
Yeah, but he's box to box also, man. So I think they're both quite versatile in that respect.
You'll
see.
Gravison box to box.
Not Gravison. No, not Gravison. Papa. Papa's box to box, and so was Dembele. To be honest,
yeah,
they
exactly.
were doing that. So when I was creating my team in my head, a lot of it was kind of like, all right, versatile.
Interchanging.
So, yeah, there's a lot of interchanging going on within the squad.
Goes.
Yeah, so it was a lot of that. They weren't just like any of the players weren't just kind of secure in one position. You could just kind of move around if need be.
Right.
But RIP to Papa as well, man, because like I said to you, man, he was a good player. He was a good player.
We got to pick the two. So I think I think what I'll say, as you've got Cahill in there already, and your formation's a bit different, Bevan. I think Cahill is actually picked 3 times, kind of thing. I'm happy to have Cahill in there, so I would say Cahill will go next to Dembele, because he's there in it. So if that being said, it's over to the wingers. Damien Duff made it, so it's a tough one. Zaha, Balassi, Solano.
And Zaha was more left mid though, weren't he? So he was out from that count.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
So
right.
Out.
So we're looking for a right winger. So right wing is Solano. Leon had Solano as well.
Solano.
I have Solano. You, Lamont, have Yannick Balassi.
Yeah.
And Gant Pedersen.
Streets will never forget Balassi.
Yeah. Gant Pedersen was a baller. I liked him. But Solano, man. Solano was just something special when I saw Solano. He played with a smile on his face. The goals he scored,
Free kicks, corners.
but Pedersen's volleys. Oh man, he's had
But
a
that's the
catalogue.
thing. When you think about Pedersen, you used to see him on the left
Yes,
more
it's
than you
true.
saw him on the right.
He was
It's
on
true.
the
We're
left.
saying that about Zaha.
So if you're going right wing, then it's between Balassi and I think you know what I'm gonna go for Balassi.
The Balassi flick for me
I've got
took it
Yeah.
some
to new
exciting
heights.
excitement in
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
team.
he was an exciting
I've-
winger,
yeah.
man.
I've got Solano, but if I'll choose, but I'd rather have Balassi. If I had a choice between the two of them, I'd rather Balassi than Solano.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
I'll second your Solano. Does anyone else
You mean
agree?
Balassi?
Or sorry, I said Balassi. Sorry, my bad. I'll second your
Yeah.
Balassi. I know Leon wants Solano.
No, I'll be honest. I actually would prefer Gamps Pedersen over Solano.
But he's left wing.
But he's left, so I can't pick him. Balassi. Don't know, man. I preferred Zaha over
Yes.
Balassi. In my
Yeah,
He
opinion.
was left wing. He was left wing as well, though.
He was way more
Do I
consistent.
prefer?
Though,
But the thing about Balassi, yeah, there was a time when Balassi was unstoppable, but as soon as he got injured, game was done.
Yeah,
man.
that was it. It was the Everton injury. It was at Everton. When he done his knee at Everton, that was it. Never came back, unfortunately.
I don't know, man. For consistency and
Solano.
lack of,
I think he was.
I'm sticking-
underrated though. Balassi was underrated, man. Like the geezer was he was having fun out there, Lee.
I don't
He's having
think he was
fun every time.
underrated. The streets remember Yannick Balassi.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have
It's
to.
true, though.
You have to.
That's what
You
I'm
have
saying.
to
So is he
remember
underrated though?
So is he underrated if the streets remember him then?
I mean,
Bro,
I feel like
he doesn't
What?
get
Wait, hold on.
accolades.
What?
I don't
He
What?
doesn't
think
get
he gets-
accolades.
yeah.
What accolade should Balassi be getting though?
Because he wasn't consistent.
Over Nobi Solano. Because
Yeah.
Solano,
I can't pick
it
over
hurts
Naby
me
Solano.
to say this.
Yeah, you know what? Bevan, you've changed my mind again. I'm flip-flopping.
To be honest,
I'm flip-flopping. No, so that has to be consistency Solano.
let's be honest, yeah. Like I had to. Obviously, we're looking at underrated players, and I picked Balassi on the basis of, he created his own move on the pitch right there at the lane. The Balassi flick. That's probably why Leon, in his subconscious, is not even liking him right now. But I'm not gonna press that too much because I know it's a bit of a nightmare. But I think off camera, we did say Solano. His consistency.
Yeah, we did.
What he was bringing to the goal scoring, whether it be assisting or scoring himself. Yeah, he was with it all day. So
I think
I kinda said, yeah.
if you're talking about underrated players, the streets are always going to rate Balassi.
Yeah,
Mhm.
true.
That's what I mean.
They're never going to.
Yeah, you're right.
Balassi, they're never going to forget him, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's gonna be a cult classic, a hood classic, for forever, bruvs, to come.
Yeah.
So
Sorry,
Yeah,
Lamont. I tried to bring one of your guys into the team, but
all right,
yeah.
we'll get there.
So-
We'll get there. Don't worry.
So it's Solano. So our midfield is made. Solano, Cahill, Dembele, Duff. This turning into Leon's team, bro.
Nah,
right now, it's
'cause
Leon's team.
Viduka's in there. I didn't pick Viduka.
Oh yeah, for real, Viduka. So
As I said that.
we're down to. So in theory, unfortunate for Bevan, he only had one striker, and Viduka was his pick, so Viduka's in. So it's down
Bevan was
to
about to take off his headphones and sign out. He's like, "Yeah, I'm done. I'm done."
I was
So
going
we've
to
got
say,
Zeko.
have at it, guys. Argue for Lamont.
Yeah.
Innit?
To be fair, I don't think the other one's an argument. To be honest, with you, it really shouldn't be.
Defoe's in there twice. No, sorry, you put your name, you put your team in twice. I keep forgetting it's twice. Defoe's in there.
Yeah, he's in there twice.
He's in
I
there twice.
picked
Sorry,
Defoe.
Leon's got Defoe.
Yeah.
Leon's got
Yeah.
Defoe, and
Who
you
did
got
you put, James?
Zeko. I got Zeko and Viduka.
And I got Zeko and Defoe.
You know what? I think Zeko was a better striker than Defoe. Leon has a very good stat, which I'll let you. I'm not going to steal your stat, so I'll let you say your stat, Leon, before I continue.
Go on, Lee.
Well, he's the
On
top.
Defoe.
Yeah, Defoe is a top Premier League goal scorer who never made any any list of team of the season, player of the season, young player, whatever. He never made any of them. Golden Boot, he never made any, and he's got the most goals in the Premier League without making any of those teams.
But I just don't think he was better than striker than Zeko.
I don't think that he was a better striker than Zeko overall. This is why I had him as well. To be honest, if him and Defoe played up top together, it would be an absolute problem. I wanted Tottenham to buy Zeko when Zeko was a sideman for Man City, because that's all they kept making him. That's why I would say that he's more underrated. Because when he went to City, like, they kind of treated him like a side dish. Really,
he was. He was always a second. He was always a second guy,
man.
But he always contributed, and you see what he's done since he left there. Like,
his numbers are crazy since he left there.
The comeback for Man City's first title doesn't happen without Zeko.
Yeah, he scored some real important goals.
That game against QPR doesn't. I swear he got 2 of the goals in that game, or he got the goal that started the comeback at least. But he might have even got 2 goals in that game. But do you prefer Viduka and Defoe over Zeko and Viduka? What's the better partnership?
Wait, hold on. I was going to throw a spanner in the works here.
You gone?
Yeah.
Is Defoe and Zeko a better partnership than Viduka and Defoe?
Possibly, but the rules, we have to go with the rules. Viduka's in 3 of our teams, so he
can't take him out.
You don't make the rules.
in.
Oh, okay.
Only because you lot picked him. But then, do we have this debate? Is that a debate? Would we prefer to have Defoe and Zeko? Because we're not going to play Zeko and Viduka, because neither of them, man, are trying to move too far away from the box. But realistically, which one would you prefer?
As a top 2, can't be.
No, because I was going to say, personally, as Leon just said, I think Defoe and Viduka works better than Zeko and Viduka. And that's why I had the question: does Defoe and
Leon was saying Zeko
and Defoe
was better than Viduka.
No,
yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, but
I can't pick both because you've picked Viduka already.
But what I was saying is that as a partnership, I don't think Zeko and Viduka works as well as either one of them with Defoe. So yeah, I would. So as a working partnership, I would pick
Defoe
and Viduka.
Yeah,
but I prefer Zeko and Defoe, and as shameless as it sounds, I would get rid of Viduka and make that my partnership.
I think because we're going to be doing more of this, we have to stick to a set of ground rules, innit? And I think the ground rules we've come across is, if multiple people put them in the team, then they stay in the team. Otherwise, we do another one, and then we're going to start flip-flopping again. I think Viduka has to be in there. So if we're going by a partnership, then I guess it has to be Defoe. And we're probably all agreeing that Defoe has to be in there as one of the 2 partners, right?
The only argument is, do you feel that Defoe is underrated enough? Because obviously, again, he's another one that everyone knows about Defoe.
I don't think he's as underrated as Zeko, though, personally. But some people will tell me that Zeko was not underrated.
I felt like Defoe at times was underappreciated.
Yes.
Because there were times when, even at Tottenham, when we had obviously Keane and Berbatov, that partnership worked better. There were times when we had both just Keane and Defoe, and they could work together, but managers didn't like it because they felt like they needed a little and large, like, kind of partnership. So we always had like Crouch or what's his name, Pavlyuchenko, and all these other guys.
But that was a fad. That was a phase, though.
That's the thing.
Big phase.
That was right, exactly. Until other managers started saying, "No, you can play 2 little man." Like when City had Tevez and got Aguero. Obviously, there's a different class, but they were little guys. They weren't big guys. So I don't know, man.
If we kind of rewind time, I think, and Zeko's name was said a lot earlier, I feel like the conversations would have been a lot bit different for all 4 of us, to be fair.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we would have said, if we're looking at a team and putting the top 2, I do believe Zeko and Defoe would have been up there for all 4 of us, to be quite frank. Viduka was in there, and I didn't even think about Xhaka. I'm going to be honest. So that probably reinforces your point, Jay, when you're saying
Yeah.
about the underrated scenario. It is true. But I really, really enjoyed watching Defoe play, and he was always a goal threat, but he never got recognised on any top level. I think Arsenal are sniffing around, maybe getting him in on a transfer at some point during his career, but his loyalty to Tottenham didn't allow him to sway to the other side,
he
North
would never
London,
have done
unlike
that.
some of the other counterparts that he had played with. But I think it is what it is. I'm going to stick with Defoe on that basis. I can't sway from Defoe. Jericho gets his kudos, but it's Jermaine for me.
Okay, so I think we have now come up with it. Obviously, Viduka stays in just because of the rules of our game. So
But it should have been Zeko.
It probably should have been Zeko. But we're stumped. We're stumped by the rules. So we have a team of Jaskalainen in goal, Risa at left back, centre back Martin Larsson with Lucas Radebe, right back Dan Petrescu. We went for Cahill and Musin Dembele centre midfields. Damien Duff left wing, Nobby Solano right wing, with Viduka and Jermaine Defoe. Basically, I think that's a good team.
It's a good team, man. It's very balanced. It's a good team. Well.
Yeah. It might have been different if we'd gone for 4-3-3, but because we were doing the era of the whole Premier League, actually, no, you did do a 4-3-3. Actually, one of us did. So I think it's a good team. You guys happy with it in the end then? No, obviously, I know you wanted a bit of your
Man United. You wanted a Red Devil.
I wanted something in there. You man just rubbed me out completely, bro. So I'm just gonna have to take.
Defoe was in your team. You got Defoe.
Yeah, but I wanted Xhaka too, bruv.
You didn't put Park Ji Sung, bruv.
Yeah.
I could have put Park Ji Sung in it.
I might put him in there.
To be fair, I put Park's name down, but obviously, there was a little bit of a misunderstanding on that side. We're gonna be honest.
What misunderstanding, bro?
Wait,
the memo I got was different.
I don't think you can have Park, man. Park wasn't underrated.
He wasn't really.
He was not. Everyone knew what Park's job was,
man.
And he did it well.
It told him 3 weeks in advance. Listen, we've got Champions League. You're playing against him, and you're gonna follow him to the changing room.
You can't. And then the team busting in home.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult to kind of call any Man United player underrated, to be fair, because everyone recognises real. So it's how it is, isn't it?
This guy.
Whatever.
With that being said, thank you very much, you guys. We have our team. Right, thanks again, you guys, for watching, for listening. We do appreciate subscribers are rolling up nicely, and the comments. We appreciate the comments. So keep commenting, keep sharing, and it will be great if you guys put your own underrated teams on YouTube, on Instagram, and on all other platforms. We're doing TikTok as well. So once again, thanks, guys. Have a good evening.
Peace.
Please.